Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis, Pulse 95.
We just played the song Found Another One on Sam Smith. We found another new owner for Newcastle. It is a massive, massive deal. A £305 million takeover of Newcastle United has been completed. Now, what is the big news about it? It is the fact that we have a consortium, we have a group, a public investment fund, which has the biggest net worth, even bigger than Manchester City as well. So it is going to be big news. Mike Ashley, his 14-year spell as Newcastle United owner is over. Fans had gathered outside the Newcastle St James's Park on Thursday to celebrate the takeover being approved, and this is amazing because the sale went through after the deal had passed the Premier League owners and directors test. There was a bit of a confusion before when the takeover bid was being pushed for a year ago. Hopes had faded, but now it's the launch of a new horizon and a new beginning for Newcastle.
Yeah, what an exciting story for Newcastle fans, and so much to look forward to in the years ahead. And I'm familiar with that story where a team is not performing so well for so many years, and you sit around and you watch the struggles, only for them to years later finally put things together. So it really must feel that way. I mean, tell us about it, AK. Let's not hide the fact that you're a big Newcastle fan and you've been there throughout the struggles.
Very happy fan right now.
What's this like for you right now?
Well,
on Cloud 9.
I'm going to change the song up next for Cloud 9 for sure. Look, because the thing is, Newcastle is an amazing city, and there's going to be a lot of New Glory supporters. So we've got to let the Glory supporters know before you sign up and say yes to the club. Oh yeah, amazing. Look, every city, or most big cities, have two different clubs. London has loads of clubs. They have, Arsenal, Aston Villa. You've got, name it, Tottenham as well, Chelsea. Manchester's got Manchester United, Manchester City. Liverpool's got Liverpool and Everton. Newcastle's got only one. It's a big city. So does Leeds, yes, but Newcastle is also a fairly big city, slightly bigger than Leeds, I'm guessing and imagine. And they still stick together. The team has done amazing in the past. It's done ridiculous in the past. It's at the moment near the bottom of the league, sadly.
Yeah.
But the fans still stick there. They still support their team. And I could associate the Newcastle team similar to the Pakistan cricket team. They've had glory days. They've had good days. They have very unpredictable days. But they're still not the top-ranked team. But Newcastle, also not the top-ranked team. With this new impetus, you could expect this is going to change. This is what we define game changer, because when Manchester City was little heard of club, no one cared about Manchester City. Literally, it was a boring team. You support Man United, you don't care about them. They were like the LA Clippers. You like Lakers, you don't care about Clippers. But then Man City got taken over £100 million of signings straight away. If you compare it to the number that they've paid right now to take over the club, 305. So a third of that money, or a third more of that money, is now going to be spent, hopefully, on buying new players. I will not be surprised if we see massive names as coaches. Mbappe moving to Newcastle, you never know.
Oh, you think that will happen?
They're going to chase him. They will chase him. And, PSG and Man City and all these clubs already facing the nerves, thinking, oh God, that this is happening.
Well, looking more into this takeover. So this takeover happened through Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and more exclusively, it happened through Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, who Mohammed bin Salman is the chairman of. And looking more into what is PIF. So PIF, basically, it's essentially a state savings account for the Saudi Arabian government, and it takes the bulk of its money from oil, which Saudi Arabia has sold all over the world. But obviously, oil doesn't last forever, so the fund has to find new ways to make money in the long term, and that's what they did right now. So they're trying to diversify their economy away from oil and gas revenues. So what they're looking towards is generating a revenue stream that means Saudi Arabia is less dependent on oil, and that's one way of doing so. And looking into the products of PIF that they've bought before, or they have received hundreds of millions of pounds from Disney, for example, Uber, Facebook, Starbucks are just some of the companies to have received hundreds of millions of pounds from PIF, which owns now 80% of Newcastle United.
It's going to be a fun transfer window in January. I'm reading all the rumors on Twitter. It's just swirling, blowing up right now. All the names that you couldn't have imagined until the story came up. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list of figures at the moment. I went through a Deloitte report. The 2021 richest football clubs, and they name or label Barcelona as the richest at the moment with 715.1 million euros of revenue, followed by Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Manchester United. And at the bottom of that list of the top 20 is Eintracht Frankfurt United, but there's no Newcastle. However, with the change in the news over the weekend, Newcastle's new owners are the richest football club owners in the world, according to the website goal.com, and they become the richest club in the Premier League at this stage, and this is big news for all Newcastle fans. So we're inviting everyone to share their thoughts and opinions on the text lines 4215. I've been a Newcastle fan for a very long time. I started supporting them from the age of 4, when my first ever football game on television that I ever watched, just flicking through channels, which should have been Saudi Arabia's football game, but it wasn't. It was Newcastle. And look at that. You know, living in Saudi Arabia, started supporting Newcastle, and the Saudis own it. Brilliant news. Big Hass, shout out, bless up, my brother. That's what we want to hear from you. And we look forward to discussing Newcastle and its successes in the upcoming future. And this is a huge news for the Toonami fans. So we're inviting everyone who does support Newcastle or who does have some kind of a connection to Newcastle to share their thoughts on the big news. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of reactions on Twitter, a lot of reactions on Facebook and Instagram as well. But we appreciate everyone sharing their thoughts this morning. So guys, we'll be gearing up for the world of business news, and we shall return right after that, continuing the discussions here on the Morning Majlis. This time, a shift in focus to global political scenario and what's been going on. Stay with us. This is the Morning Majlis only on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95. Between local lines. Notes from the Emirates.
The popular plays and theatrical works made by His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, Supreme Council member and ruler of Sharjah, have received an incredible reception in Madrid and Cordoba, the historic capital of Andalusia. Elite intellectuals and academics have been celebrating the rich legacy of His Highness the ruler of Sharjah's theatrical works, including those that have been translated into Spanish as part of the Sharjah Literary Days event organized by the Sharjah Book Authority in cooperation with Casa Arabe, which is operated as the strategic center for Spain's relations with the Arab world. This event follows a 2019 agreement between SBA and Casa Arabe, which was signed in the presence of His Highness the ruler of Sharjah to strengthen bilateral cooperation. And it's incredible to see that those theatrical works are being celebrated all around the world.
They are, and actually they've been showcased or talked about during 2 sessions that discuss the selection of the most notable works of His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, and this were actually organized in, as you mentioned, Ahmed, in Casa Arabe in Madrid and in Cordoba as well. We've seen also during those sessions Emirati actor and producer Ahmed Al-Jasmi, actor and theater researcher Lola Botello, and Spanish writer and playwright Julieta Soria led those discussions, which began with a video presentation of His Highness's works, including Nimrud, Holako's Return, Reality, A True Copy, The Case, Alexander the Great, Mighty Samson, and Al-Ghabra as well, and the Book of Allah, a play on the conflicts between light and darkness. And that's just to mention a few. And also speaking about the plays, Al-Jasmi commented by saying the theatrical works of the ruler of Sharjah, they're based on historical events, not just as a narration of the past, but also to provide context to those incidents. History gives us the opportunity to learn from past mistakes, and it helps us understand the many reasons why people may behave the way they do. So most importantly, His Highness very subtly urges us to heed the lessons that history teaches us so as not to repeat past mistakes, which can lead to chaos, confusion, and even disintegration of nations. He also said that His Highness's theatrical works highlight his great command over the language and precise use of words to convey any given point. They are great examples of the Sharjah ruler's facility with words, and definitely demonstrates his love for the art form.
It's amazing. I've had the pleasure of watching Nimrod live in the Gorky Theatre in Moscow, and trust me, it's such a captivating play. You don't even need to know Arabic to understand the plays, because they were, with Ahmed Al-Jasmi as well, they were enacted and played in such a way that it just gripped the audience attention. Yes, there were subtitles in the Gorky Theatre when we went over for the Moscow International Book Fair, but the way the play has been written, the way it's also been directed, is just so fascinating. The colors, the costumes, when everything comes together, the music as well that goes behind it, people have loved it. And for that play to have played in such a fantastic location such as the Gorky Theatre in Moscow, with such an affluent audience, it just made things better. And this is what sells: the culture, your soft image, your soft power, just makes it so interesting that people will look at it and think, you know what, we want to come and visit Sharjah and want to check out what this city really has to offer.
Yeah, that's an incredibly important point here, that art and culture bridge nations and people and bring forth our human and cultural commonalities as well. So it's essentially using the arts as a platform for building relationship and cooperation among countries all around the world. And that's been an integral part of Sharjah's project. The core belief that culture unites us all and lays the foundation for a bright future of cooperation as well. And to see the Sharjah ruler's theatrical works being celebrated globally and discussed in this way with such enthusiasm is a testament to the power of those cultural bonds.
Certainly is. And guys, let us know on the text lines 4215 if you've got any particular favourite plays written by His Highness the Ruler of Sharjah, or even the book as well. We'll continue the discussions here on the programme. We'll be right back after a bit of an interval, and we've got an update as well with Tyson Fury winning that title. So we'll talk to you about that in greater detail about the encounter. So do stay with us on the morning Majlis. That discussion is going to be up next here on the programme.
Stay fit. Stay fit. Stay fit.
Tyson Fury.
Oh yes,
the
Tyson
winner?
Fury. He's the winner. And finally, what a game! I think the sad part. It is also fun, but the sad part is we don't get to catch the games or these big bouts. And I know a lot of you went over to different venues for their wonderful breakfast options and caught the encounter early in the morning. But what a fight!
Yeah, what a fight indeed. And from the get-go, you could tell that sparks were flying off. Initially started out with Wilder, very high energy, and landing very, very good shots on Tyson Fury. In fact, I gave him the first round, just got to catch a glimpse of that first initial exchange in the fight. But the longer the fight went on, the more in control Fury looked, especially after the fourth round, where power seemed to slowly dissipate from Wilder, and Fury was just eating up those punches and smiling in exchange. And there's something about Tyson Fury, the way he moves. He's a very big guy, massive guy. You have to see him. But there's something really awkward about him where you punch a guy like that and he's moving in this really awkward, bizarre way, and your punches just start to bounce off like they're nothing. And Wilder started gassing out and tiring pretty much in the last several rounds, especially round 8 onwards, where he's just Fury's just falling on top of him, suffocating him, and then landing those punches whenever he could. So a great fight overall, and really nice to see the excitement about heavyweight boxing. And what an excellent conclusion to a trilogy that we've been following and keeping up with for some time.
We certainly have been, and it's great to see that it went on for 11 rounds. So hopefully the fans got a chance to watch a good encounter, because there's been so many high-profile fights that fans have very much been disappointed, especially the Conor McGregor fights, and you know we see we're seeing the big icon bowing out of the boxing ring to join the political arena. Good old Manny Pacquiao, but good to see such more ambassadors of the sport doing so well on the screen. Speaking of screens, we've also got this.
Entertainment headlines.
Yes,
Headlines.
we do. We have the 8th edition.
This is
The Buzz. The Buzz is about the 8th edition of the Sharjah International Film Festival for Children and Youth, and it will open today under the patronage of Her Highness Sheikh Jawahar bint Muhammad Al Qasimi, wife of His Highness the ruler of Sharjah and chairperson of the Supreme Council for Family Affairs. So it's going to be taking place from today until the 15th of October, and this year's edition, it will be organized virtually by the Sharjah-based organization that's dedicated to promoting media arts among children and youth in the UAE, and that just happens to be FUN. That is the organization we're talking about. And this year, the SIFF, or the 8th edition of the Sharjah International Film Festival, it will be themed Think Film. And it will offer more than 80 films from 38 countries, including 6 world premieres, 34 Middle East, and 4 GCC premieres, and also 4 films being shown for the first time here in the country. So the lineup of films for this year, they're going to be across 7 categories: child and youth films, GCC short films, international short films, animation, documentary, feature and student films. They will all be available for viewing to audiences all across the world, and the winners, they will be announced at the festival's closing ceremony on the 15th of October.
Yeah, numerous films being screened at this festival, and you could check them out online. We'll talk all about how you could do so. And that's not all. They've got 34 workshops, 5 panel discussions in English as well as Arabic as well, where renowned filmmakers are going to discuss the various aspects of filmmaking as a craft. This includes script writing, cartoon sketching, photography, production, and so on and so forth as well. Leading institutions and regional institutions like Emirates schools establishments, Sharjah Education Council, and Creative Lab will also facilitate these workshops as well. So very, very exciting stuff here, and I look forward to seeing what kind of movies they put on.
Yeah, really looking forward to this event, especially this time round. Sadly, it's going to be virtual, so you can. It's going to be great for video and demand aspect as well. So there's one way of catching it is logging onto their website, and it is all launching today, which is really, really good. But what is the most important aspect for us on our movie watching experience?
I think don't be conventional in the plot structure, and in the sense that you don't want to be too predictable with a movie. But I think ultimately just tell a story that's human, that I could relate to, that would resonate with me. Personally, I'm not interested in seeing superheroes and lasers and fireballs being shot in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Just show me a real human story that I can emotionally connect to. That's what I look forward to in a movie.
Yes. Absolutely, I second that 100%.
Thank you.
That's why I love the film, for example, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes,
because it has this human thing that touches you in the end of the film, and it inspires you to be better, and inspires you, and it's like pushes you out of your seat. Like, okay, khalas, after this film, I'm gonna go and pursue my dreams. You know, I love that the film. I love a film that does that to you in the end.
The impact.
The impact it has.
massive impact.
I don't get that from sci-fi, so that's why I second what you said.
same.
Very good. Awesome. Well, for me, the most important movie watching experience is going to be only one thing, and it has to be that as well. has to have very good popcorn, and that's it. That's what matters. That's what cinema is all about. Guys, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. Do let us know on the text lines 4215. What's your biggest seller? What's your most important aspect of a movie watching experience? You can say nachos. It's fine. And we look forward to hearing your thoughts. Text lines are active 4215, and we will be right back after some more musical entertainment as well as the news headlines.
If you liked this episode of The Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Bubbles.